All right, man, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name's Jack Ewins. You guys might know me from Terrordome and some other works in the Jurassic franchise. But thanks for having me, Clayton. It's something I've really wanted to talk to you about in full, because I know we've played this game around the same time this year, actually.
Yeah. You started yours on your channel, and I usually watch all your live streams, and I stay pretty in the know of it. But when you did that, I was like, yeah, I don't want it spoiled, because I've always steered clear of it. So it's been an experience. I'll say that, going in blind.
That was one of my first questions I wanted to talk to you about, actually. Was, while we're on this subject, how much did you know before going into the game?
Okay, so I knew that there were raptors on the island, which I took an issue with because obviously all the raptors died in the original movie, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew that there was a marine facility, but I did not know what kind of aquatic animal was down there until about a year ago. I thought it could have been a plesiosaurus, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I didn't really know much. Like I said, I watched the trailer in 2011. I heard them use the Dino Crisis T-Rex roar, and that was it. I was just like, they're not treating this with respect. This is just another dinosaur game. Right. So I knew nothing.
Okay, good. Because that's pretty much where I was coming from, because the game came out in 2011.
Yeah, a while ago now.
And I remember hearing people talking about it, but I was sort of similar. I didn't know too much about it. I knew the T-Rex was in the visitor center, and I knew there were raptors on the island, but I didn't take issue with it. I was just like, okay, so there's raptors on the island. I didn't even think there shouldn't have been any. But then the eggs, I didn't know if they were meant to be the raptors from the eggs that Grant found and that sort of stuff. But but that was about it. I knew there was a marine exhibit as well, and I knew there was a Tylosaurus. That was about it.
We went in pretty much with the same info, so it'll be interesting to compare both of our experiences. I'll say that for me, going in and starting the game, it was... I do feel like when I first turned it on, I had missed out on something, because obviously, I mean, it's no hidden secret. I freaking love Jurassic Park. So
do you?
It was weird. It was like, they're doing this right so far. I'm just talking about when I booted the game up to just see what it was about. I was like, why did I stay away for so long? I felt very foolish.
Do you know what? I agree. I had that similar sort of feeling, actually. There's moments in the game that I really truly capture Jurassic Park. They nail it in some scenes in this game. I think one of the moments for me, just to give an example, is when the tour car comes round and it's all chewed up, and it's and it's still playing the messages, and the door falls off when they open and stuff. I just thought that was kind of funny, and that, to me, that was a joke that I could actually picture being in a Jurassic movie.
I could see it.
Yeah, I think I pointed out on my live stream that it was similar to how the gyrosphere, when Owen and Claire find the gyrosphere, it's saying safety is our main concern. You can still hear him saying that, even though it's completely been ripped open. So I thought it was kind of nice that they actually have got that in the films, but this game came out before that and has the similar sort of joke in it. So I was like, actually, that really feels like Jurassic to me. So which isn't an obvious one, I think. When you think of images like the T-Rex, as we're looking at this picture now of the T-Rex coming out of the visitors center.
Oh yeah.
And all that sort of imagery. It was
that
nice
did
to
a
have,
lot for me, by the way. That was something that I really enjoyed. That whole section where you've got to load in the darts and shoot at the T-Rex while it's about to kill his daughter. And
he's striding forward like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
It's great.
With the minigun.
And for that reason, I think that some people out there will say this is the Jurassic Park 2 that they probably wished had come out. I am not one of those people. Now, I do see that there's value in this. I enjoy the story for the most part. I just think that this is what people expected when, like, this should have, if this came out as a movie, which is kind of how it plays out, in like 95 or 96, people would have made it a blockbuster.
Yeah, it would have been probably a bigger budget, I could imagine, than The Lost World. Granted, with like the whole marine exhibit and all that sort of stuff, and the amount of helicopter action as well. Is quite extensive in the game. But yeah, no, I can see when I play it, talking about like, you know, it being a Jurassic Park 2 in a way. I can see why so many people like to consider it part of the actual expanded universe, because it does really play close to the movies, which is I think I pointed this out when I was playing it. I said that like it plays so closely to the plot of the first film that it's very strange when you have a movie-based game that does that. Usually movie-based games are like, you know, they take you off on like a sort of separate open world type adventure, like the Avatar game on PlayStation 3 does that, where you can explore Pandora, but you're not like the events of the film are happening, but you're not directly linked to it in a way.
I think the Spider-Man games did the same thing.
Yeah, or even games like Alien Isolation, which is like its own story, somewhat linked to the thing. But this game is like so integrated into the plot of the first film. You know, Nedry shuts the power off, so that's why, you know, and then when Ray and that like boot up the system again, that's why the marine exhibit doesn't have power, is because like they haven't thrown the breakers for that. She only did like the ones for the area around the park. Like they explain it in such a way, but it's so integrated to the point that I think that when, like, you know, you have like the T-Rex burst through the visitor center doors, for example, you know, that's when some other people say it's not so closely linked to like the story. So what I'm trying to say is like it played a risky game, being so close to the like the actual.
Yeah, I can really see that. Yeah.
So, you know, yeah. So that's. I can't remember the point I was getting to for that, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, you bring it up. I'll say this now. Jurassic Park, as far as continuity goes, people are very specific. People are like, hey, this needs to be here, this needs to be here, down to the map of the island, which famously there is no accurate map to Isla Nublar for Jurassic Park. But it's what's interesting to me is that they had all this detail that they really did integrate into the story, into the island itself and the park layout, and little things like Jerry's mustache is missing. or
someone pointed that out to me on my channel. They said, why is everyone obsessed with Gary's mustache? They said, like, you watch a Harry Potter film, I think they gave an example like this, like a Harry Potter film has a different actor play Dumbledore in a different film. It doesn't look anything like the other actor, so what, are the Harry Potter films not canon anymore? So I get that, because they couldn't use the likeness of the actor and of the producer, sorry. So like he didn't let him use his likeness, so they completely changed his look. But at that point, I'm thinking like, well, this isn't like an actor. If that was me, I would have just made it a new character.
Yeah, I could see the value in doing that. Although I do like the they do link the whole Sarah Harding is Jerry Harding's daughter.
I mean, I take a little bit of issue with that because
okay,
you know, Sarah is his daughter. She's a paleontologist. Why was the first daughter he told
Jess?
Jess, yeah. You think he would be like, "Hey,
too.
Sarah, you know I'm working on an island with dinosaurs. You're a paleontologist, right?" Like, she would be on the island. Hammond would have got Sarah to come to the island rather than Alan Grant. If he wanted a passing grade for the park, he wouldn't have chosen Alan Grant. Even Alan Grant's the #1 top dog paleontologist in the world. I understand, you know, what, you know, his position in the actual film. But when it comes to this game, it's like, it's very unbelievable for me that like he wouldn't ask Sarah to come to the island. So to me, it's like he should have been a new character entirely. You know, because I like Jerry in the game. I like him. I like the character in the game. I think he's fine. You know, I like how he, you know, gets angry with Jess, and I like the way he's like kind-hearted, but he's also morally sound. Like when later on in the game, when Laura Sorkin's like threatening their lives, he's like giving some really good points as to why they should like probably blow up the island and all that sort of stuff and just get out of there. And he's angry about the Lycine contingency and all that sort of stuff. So I like him as a character. You know,
he's well rounded enough, and I think that he's kind of the Alan Grant of this story to a degree.
Yeah. But he just doesn't feel like the guy who's tending the sick Triceratops.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's two different people. He's like, I get like they can't use his likeness, but doesn't it? It's like this guy has like 15 years less experience on planet Earth in the game. Like it's like,
yeah, exactly.
I just don't feel like it's the same guy.
Yeah,
but you brought up Jess, and Jess is a controversial character. I think for some people, I don't hate Jess, but I think that
I didn't.
You do hate Jess?
No, I didn't know.
Okay. I
actually like Jess as a character. I love the fact that she's always trying to steal cigarettes. And
that's ridiculous. That's
like in the middle of a dino-infested island, she's like trying to bum a smoke, and then she'll like disappear and try and light up. It's like,
and then right before she throws them into the Velociraptor's mouth. By the way,
God.
See, that draws. Because I actually have a lot of positive things to say about this story. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I didn't expect to.
When did you finish it?
I finished the whole thing. The last part, as in we're recording this, is not up on the channel yet, but I finished the whole thing.
Okay. So just, to give some people some context. I finished it about a month and a half ago now. I think maybe a little bit longer than that. So
I enjoyed it. I really did. But there are some certain issues that I am going to treat it kind of like I don't know if this is fair or not, but I hold Jurassic Park to such a high level that I kind of have to treat this as its own story, as its own film. So there's just some stuff from a storytelling perspective, from fleshing out your characters, particularly in episode 4, the end of the game. I feel like they fumbled the ball for the first half of that episode. I actually enjoyed the somewhat rushed ending of everything that happens at the end, but the whole Billy turning quite insane, and then what else happened? There was
the scene where Nema's giving her whole backstory about being on the island. Like really comes out of nowhere. And I mean, I commented on your video saying I clicked just enough talk because I knew where it was going. I was like, she's going to start talking about the island, because I'd heard that was actually one thing I'd heard before as well. So when I got to the point in the game where she was looking over the horizon, I was like, here we go. And so enough talk. Like your daughter's, like you said in your video.
My God, yeah.
He gets split up from his daughter, and then like you can click all these buttons and have this whole conversation that like.
And see, I didn't know anything about the backstory between, and they still didn't really explain or at least maybe they did, I didn't catch it, but the whole relation that she has to Oscar, relocating the people off the island or whatever. Look, they could have put that anywhere. Someone commented that they could have had that conversation while they were riding to the marine facility, and it would have fit. When they do it as soon as they get out, it's like, Nema, shut the fuck up. Yeah. My daughter's down there. She's probably getting killed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just jarring. It's like...
Yeah, but the story as a whole, as you were saying, is good overall. It's just, it like has a few trips along the way.
It had some hiccups in storytelling and character development that I thought were...
See, I liked Billy when he turned crazy, because you just mentioned Billy as well.
Oh, I understand why he did it, and I think it's very human, actually, because it's kind of like a defense mechanism. Yeah. It's kind of like his military training kicked in to try to survive, because all his friends are dead. I buy it, but I don't like how the game. He is essentially the villain of this game. It's not Miles. It's Billy, and I never cared for Billy's character up until shit hit the fan, when I was kind of like, okay, Billy has a certain skill set and a certain mindset that they could really use. And he broke. And when he broke, I understood it and I was receptive of it. But I don't like how they made him blow up the, lock everyone down there. And then... Yeah,
I didn't like that. I thought they could have had a good moment of like pick your side for Billy. to be on.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
Choose. Do you want Billy to sabotage everything and go against the main characters, or do you want him to join? Because I didn't like him at the beginning because he was too jokey.
Yes,
and I thought his cheesiness factor was just a little bit too high for my liking. But when the shit hit the fan, he turned into a really like interesting character.
Yeah, he came into his own.
But then when he betrays him a second time, I thought...
kind of took it away.
Yeah. Because Sorkin... I didn't mind Sorkin trying to kill the characters, in a way. I didn't mind it too much because she was desperate. She tried anything. She wasn't really going to hurt them.
Yeah, she wasn't going to hurt them. I understand.
But I like the idea.
It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the idea of Billy not thinking that. The being like, he didn't go against the team. He worked with them, but he went a little bit too far because he genuinely was going into his military mode.
Billy's change makes sense. Like, I understand, especially it comes, and here's where I'll praise the storytelling, because it comes right after Oscar dies in a really great scene, by the way, probably my favorite part of the game.
Yeah,
Oscar's death. Okay, and then it comes right after that. You find Decaf's body, and he's like, does he have a tattoo on his arm that's, similar to mine? And he has that scene where he punches the locker, and it's like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Because that was really good. But and I like I said, I understand the change and everything, but it's these small issues towards that fourth episode where I just can't suspend my disbelief of, okay, so you're telling me that the car shows up right there, which is fine. Okay, it was then no one shut it off, but it's on its way to the Marine facility. And I was like, oh, okay, that's convenient. And then they don't show the characters actually getting there, so it's quite abrupt. It's quite like, oh, now we're moving the story here.
Yeah.
So it's like, were you still in danger? What was going on? And I don't know. The way they handled Billy in the last little bit, where he what did he say to Jess? He's like, I'd tell you, but I'd have to kill you. And I was like, okay, shouldn't be making that joke right now. Like, it's effective, but it's just one of those things like, oh shit, Billy has lost it. I do love his death. I think that his death is very Jurassic Park. Although
I do like it as well. I just think the ending, if I have to be nitpicky, I like the visuals of a T-Rex running along the pier.
I did too, yeah.
And being in that setting with all the crates, that whole climax is like a great set piece. But why is the T-Rex there? The T-Rex becomes like the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3, where it just appears
kind of shows up.
Just shows up just for convenience sake. Like, it shows up on the cliff top when they're at the helicopter. It shows up at Dr. Sorkin's lab with the Parasaurolophus. It shows up at it's like, why is it
that's
there?
Right, it does. Yeah.
Why is it everywhere? So, like, I kind of feel like it would have been more interesting had it been a different dinosaur at the end rather than the T-Rex.
That would be interesting. I would have rather. I do think it would have probably been a cooler death if it was by the raptors. I understand why they use the T-Rex here, but to have it show up at random locations whenever they wanted.
That was a real nitpick, though.
Yeah, because they just wanted to further the location
too much. Like, it doesn't, because it's in game form. It doesn't bother me as much. I'm like, okay, that's fine. While we're in that scene, did you choose to save Nema?
No, save Nema. I chose to save Jess. The T-Rex squished the Barbasol can.
Yeah, that there's okay. So there's
Is
a
there
bit
two
where
endings?
there's a bit where Nema's hanging off like a thing, and the T-Rex is looking at her, or Jess is towards the end, and then the Barbasol can gets dropped, and then Nema has to have a choice of whether to go get the Barbasol can or save Jess.
I saved Jess.
Okay, see, I clicked Nema to go get the Barbasol can.
What did you get?
She gets eaten. She gets killed, and then
Really?
the game ends. Yeah, without her. And I thought, Nema's character is a character I just didn't like. I was just like, I don't care about her at all.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
So I opted to. Well, I didn't know at the time. I was just clicking buttons, and I was shocked that I had that. But then I settled on, yeah, actually, I like that ending. I like that she died, and also like I felt like if they'd have just kept that as the ending, like it would have had a bit more of a hit of like this game has balls, like, in a way. It's like
to kill Nema or to
kill Nema, this sympathetic character who you should like, but she does things in the game, like she attacks Oscar with a knife in the helicopter. essentially trying to murder someone. Like, she's not a character that she should get her comeuppance in the end, is how I felt. Even though she is a sympathetic character and you know why she's doing the things she's doing. She was like an almost anti-hero. And
to a degree, yeah.
Yeah, and to have the game end on her death is quite powerful. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Now I like her character, almost like a Nick Van Owen-esque type thing.
And that's the thing. I know a lot of people think that Nick Van Owen should have died in the Lost World, but I don't personally think that, because, like, let's compare Nick Van Owen to Nema. Nema actively tried to stab someone to death in a helicopter.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Like, she tried to throw someone from a helicopter.
Nick's Achilles' heel is he doesn't think about the repercussions of doing something. He just does it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Nick probably knew that, look, the T-Rex could have killed Roland if he hadn't shot it. But, okay, there's a difference between taking someone's ammo and coming at someone with a gun, which Nema does several times, or a knife, or any... I mean, like, Nema wanted to kill Oscar. Nick never really wanted to, like, stab Roland.
But I mean, in sort of the context of, like, you know, Nema, I think because she goes to Oscar with a knife, she deserves a death more than Nick Van Owen. But it's a similar sort. It's cut from the same cloth in a way.
A bit, yeah. And by the way, Nema's character motivation, her whole "I've got a daughter that needs to get out of the ghetto."
Yeah,
I personally felt like that dated the story so. To me, the 2000s, I was a teenager. This was 2011, so I guess they were trying to, like, shake off some of that stuff, but it was very ghetto fabulous. If you know what I mean? How, like, everyone was like,
I think so.
At least when I was in school, it was like, hey, I'm the poorest kid in the world. It was like, oh, you're like the king. But it was just, to me, it dated it pretty. Like, would someone really be using this terminology in 1993? I expected her daughter to be, like, really, like, stricken with cancer at, like, age 5 or something terrible. Like, you know, I was like, she needs the money bad, or she's on the end of the rope. And I think I said this, and the thing was like, you just want to move. But I get it's a serious situation. Like, she goes on later about drug cartels and stuff like that. And I am sympathetic. It's just the way they revealed it to the audience, I felt, and I think even Billy says, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, I don't think it worked. You know, I didn't even think it was like him up the tree, like dangling the Barbasol can. Like, look what I thought it was a little bit like too. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
On the nose, stupid, cliche.
Yeah, just a little bit silly. You know.
Yeah, over the top. That was Billy, though, as a character. He was so over
well, especially after a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
What
are you doing, dude? And it's weird because Oscar kind of switches. Like, Oscar at the beginning of the game, I swear to God, that's how I talk to my friends. Like, where he's making fun of him, you know, he's like, I forget exactly what he says, but that Oscar is pretty legit. And then Oscar gets deathly serious when the helicopter crashes and people are dying, and he recognizes it, and he's like, okay, we need to take charge and get these people off of the island.
Yeah, I mean, Oscar's kick-ass.
Yeah, I love Oscar.
He is the best character in the game.
By far. I was so shocked that they killed him in the manner that they did. Exactly.
And there's this moment where, like, you think he might live. And it's like, it's almost like the Indominus over the T-Rex. You're like, oh god, they're going to kill the T-Rex again. And then Blue comes back. It's kind of like that. But in this one, you're like, okay, he might live. Oh no, wait, he's dead. Oh shit. Oh, he's really dead. Like,
he's gone.
Yeah. Because they make that sad joke that Jess says, like, oh, you're going to get a raptor tattoo now on your arm, and he's like, oh yeah, maybe, and you're like, yeah, damn it, you should go get that raptor tattoo. And then
that's so dead. Cool. Yeah,
and you're like, oh no, he won't. He's a really really sympathetic character. He's almost like a Roland Tembo.
I agree completely. That's kind of how I took it. Is he's like he is the which they never flat out explained if he killed like any people on the island. I don't believe like when they were relocating anyone. But Oscar was the guy. I was like, this is a relatable character. This is someone that is just doing their job. And I chose that he wouldn't be a part of the Nema, Billy, let's hide this.
I actually can't remember what I chose for that section. He might have chosen to stay with Billy, I think, in my version.
I opted not to do that, but I don't know. There was so many things.
I wasn't concentrating, so I admit, like I would have chosen for him to have not gone along with Billy's plan like you chose.
It makes it a little more tragic when he dies. I wanted him to live, I really did, but because he has like another thing they adapted. Another thing about this game is they adapt parts from the book quite accurately. A little over the board with the Oscar versus Raptor knife fight. That was in the book with Donald Gennaro, but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like someone wrestling with a raptor with a knife in a really enclosed thing. Because I think, well, no, but I mean, like, I like it, but I think it happens twice or 3 times in the game, if I remember correctly. And it's like, I think once was enough. Like, when he kills the first one.
Yeah.
That was enough. I didn't need to see him burst out the door and American football shoulder barge a raptor out of the way and then slice a scar across its eye. I could have done with all that. Like, you didn't even need any of that.
Someone should edit that footage of the raptor chasing Jess and then just Oscar pushing, like, do the RKO out of nowhere, like wrestling thing.
Here's the thing. Like, Oscar slashes a raptor across the eye, right? Mm-hmm. Going by memory here. The raptors then appear in the geothermal power plant, and they kill Oscar. They chase the characters to a room, and then the Troodoms come. So there's no payoff for that raptor getting the scar, or that raptor dying. So, like, the whole scene where he bursts out the door, barges it, gives it the scar, you could literally remove that, and it won't change. It won't change anything, and it won't. Yeah. And for me, it would have made, like, his killing of the raptor more believable, because it's not like he can just go toe-to-toe with a raptor whenever he sees one.
It's a bit pointless, but I already thought they were going over the top during his death scene, where where he's. I think I even say, I'm like, are we like, really? How the hell is this going to go? Because there's like 3 raptors all around him. In all due fairness, I guess there's a slight payoff because the scarred raptor does. I think that's the one that ends up really fucking Oscar up, but. Still,
but then it never comes back. So
yeah,
it's like,
they never come back. Like, and they
if
were
the raptors were the ones at the dock.
Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, you'd have been like some payoff, for Oscar if they managed to kill the raptor with the scar on its eye, in some fashion. That
was just my whole thing. The way they ended this story, I felt, was very abrupt. Because like starting off from the beginning. All the stuff with the Triceratops attacking the Jeep and the Dilophosaurs and even the
big build-up.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed the Visitor Center stuff. I enjoyed everything up until, I honestly want to say episode 4. I had issues with dialogue, like corny lines, but I wouldn't knock the game for that. It wasn't until they really started shoehorning in, like, let's just end it. Let's just... Okay, the military's on their way to blow up the island, which, I mean, even if you take this thing as non-canon or soft canon, that never happened. Yeah. So it's
got called off.
Yeah. It felt very rushed. It was just like, let's just end this.
Yeah. I mean, I felt the ending. Because I said this when I was live streaming it. I saw so many people uploading chapters of this game into some like chapter 20s. I saw some people's videos. It was like
you thought it'd be a long game.
I thought it was a really long game, and then when I played it, I couldn't believe it was over. I was like, I'm already at the dock. Oh my god, I've played this game for like 4 chapters. That's it. Like, oh, okay. I thought it could have done with an extra 2 chapters or something. Like
at least
make it 6 or so. But again, like, I hear so many people talk about the negatives of this game everywhere, and I really just want to state that I don't think it deserves it, like, at all.
Oh no, it's not terrible.
No, it's not. It's genuinely interesting, and it's one of the best Jurassic Park games out there, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was a little bit more controllable than a point and click sort of thing, because or a little bit more interactive, should I say, rather than like, there's only 4 things to do on the screen. It'd be nice to have like a little bit of variety. But then again, they had to work on a budget, so like I think they probably did the best they really could, and I think it pays off, because it's 2018 and we're still talking about it. So
yeah, thankfully.
And like even details down to like which I've got up images here, like Laura Sorkin's journal. I don't know if you ever went through that.
Not yet. I have not gone through it yet.
Okay, because there's some interesting like backstory things in here and little tidbits of information. Like the Troodons. Like after the latest incident, John has deemed the Troodon a threat to his vision of the park. He told me in no uncertain terms that they are to be destroyed, along with all records of their creation.
Huh.
So like they're not on InGen's list. They're gone.
Purposefully.
Purposefully all gone. And I believe like the Tylosaurus as well. All like it's for it's a Phase B attraction, so it's not on the list. Like,
oh yeah, it says that right there. It is not on the list.
So they managed to. This is where like a lot of people say that it really does sort of fit in. I
can see that now.
There's loads of backstory in the game as well, and it's like with Jurassic Park the game, like finding that surprise game. That I felt that surprise when I played it, even though I played it like late, later than a lot of other fans, and got to experience it. Like I had that feeling of like, oh man, I wish I had played this back in 2011.
I can only speak for myself. I don't know how you felt, but I was pretty burned after accepting that I didn't like Jurassic Park 3, which was not when I actually first saw that movie. I enjoyed it, but then later on, it kind of slumped up on a lot of fans. Like, hey, this isn't as good as Lost World or Jurassic Park, and then coupled with we were always promised Jurassic Park 4 like year after year. Like it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then I remember in 2010, I was like, if this movie doesn't get announced like a writer or something, then it's never coming out. So when this game came out and it was all that, and by that point, Jurassic Park had kind of become like, who cares? Because
I remember feeling that kind of feeling when this game came out, around 2011 time.
And I had all these memories of how much I really appreciated when the series had its heyday in the 1990s and up until the third film. And even a little after the third film, there was still a lot of positivity going around the community. But it's just, I didn't want someone to look at the franchise, especially because this game was being touted as like, this happens right after Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. So you better pick it up. And it was just knowing that, I didn't want to be a part of or in the midst of any heckling because I still had a serious connection with those movies. So I stayed away from it. And I kind of regret that now because it's genuinely not bad. I would argue it's one of the better Jurassic Park stories outside of the films.
100%.
If it was a movie, I'd say I'd probably rate it a 3.5 out of 5 or maybe a 4 out of 5 on a good day.
I'd probably put it in the same level as Jurassic Park 3.
I actually think it's better than Jurassic Park 3, personally. I do. I really think that to me in the game, the Troodons are more intimidating and more vicious and scary than the Spinosaurus. I like the characters more. I like the whole marine exhibit looks great, by the way. I really love the way they designed all that.
Oh, yeah, that looks awesome.
I think it's good. I'm just kind of... I hate the fact that I didn't play it back in the day, but I do feel like I missed something out. Like, I feel
we got to experience it now, didn't we? And I guess because not too many people are focusing on this game, as much as they were back in the day. I think we've got fresh takes on it, but not as fresh as we'd have liked.
I can agree to that. Yeah,
because imagine playing this for like the first time, like when it came out. It must have been fun, like for real. I have that exact sentiment, of like, I wish I kind of played this when it came out. I don't even know why I avoided it. I think like I guess 2011 would have been when I moved to London. Like late 2010, I moved to London. I was in my early 20s, and I think I had a lot of other stuff going on, so I didn't really pay attention to sitting down and playing at a computer. I think I was doing some other stuff. That might have had something to do with it. Because usually anything with the Jurassic logo on it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be all over this.
Right, yeah. And that's how I was up until, for a long time, there wasn't anything with the Jurassic Park logo on it for much of the 2000s that was substantial. There was some random toy lines and stuff, but it just kind of, I hate to say
there was a game come out, I'm just looking it up now. I did a video on it with Sam from the podcast. It was called Jurassic Park Explorer, and it was a DVD game.
Yeah, I bought that at like a Books A Million, which is a bookstore in America. I bought that in like 2008 or something, whenever it came out.
I think this was 2000. Oh, the Explorer game. I thought it was stupid fun. we had a laugh with it because we were like just laughing our heads off, but you could tell it was from a time when the franchise was probably at its lowest.
Yes.
And that comes with like a bitter taste. So I don't really ever want to play the game ever again.
Me neither, man. That's
because I'm like, this just reminds me of the dark times. And the Jurassic Park, the game, I will admit, has a little tweak of that. It has a little tweak of like, this comes from a period where like it wasn't.
No one gave a shit anymore.
No, but I'm glad that like it's sort of picked up a lot of. It's almost got like a cult fan base following, I'd say. Who absolutely love it, and I'd like to consider myself one of them. It's been really interesting, like going through it. I have to say, like the Herrerasaurus. I just wanted to note this. I think it's really interesting and super awesome that Mattel are bringing out their line of Fallen Kingdom figures, and the Herrerasaurus is coloured exactly like the one from Jurassic Park the game.
I was quite happy that they did that.
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, see, that's the first one I want to pick up. I've got my sister's little boy. I'm going to buy him loads of the action figures, but one I want to buy for myself is the Herrerasaurus because it reminds me of this game, and I'm like, I like that. To have a piece of Jurassic Park the game merchandise in a way.
I'm glad they're acknowledging it, because they could just as easily just like, nope, didn't happen.
Yeah, especially in the toy lines, because the toy lines never have really followed everything exactly.
No.
Alan Grant with his giant rocket launcher, and
that's the thing. Like, they didn't have to. And by the way, that's why I'm so thankful that the series is back in the way that it is, and it's back and it's being respectful, because like none of this had to happen. Like, we didn't have to get more Jurassic Park anything, and it's kind of endearing that they're tying it into not only this game, but the fact that this game really did try to. It tried to be a Jurassic Park game in every sense of the word, in a positive light. It
had the title, didn't it? It's called Jurassic Park the game, so they had to live up to that title. And I think they did a good job, like really good job.
Nobody thought that there wouldn't be a Jurassic Park 2, but they ultimately picked something that no one expected with Lost World, which I rather enjoyed. I think Lost World's great, but I do think that this is probably Jurassic Park 2 proper.
I know what you mean by that. Yeah, this feels like a Jurassic Park 2. Yeah, but the Lost World. That's why it's called the Lost World. It's different. It's
totally
different. A different kettle of fish. Well, anyway, I don't know. Jurassic Park the game. I love it.
I liked it a lot.
I might play it again.
I'll play it again eventually. It does have replay value. I'll say that. My overall verdict, I think the first 3/4 of the game, like 75%, are great, apart from cheesy dialogue and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think the end is just where they kind of dropped some stuff, and it doesn't overall ruin the experience for me, but that's how I think. I think like 75 to 80% of the story, I'm like, yeah, I like this. This is great. And then the other stuff, I'm like, I could do without that, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Like I said, there's a few things I would have changed if I was, creatively behind it. But it's definitely achieved what they
set out to do.
Achieve in my eyes, it's worthy of the of being called Jurassic Park the game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they earned it. Yeah, overall, we both enjoyed the game. We both wish we had played it back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jack, it was really great to have you come on. It's always cool to talk Jurassic with you. So.
No worries. I'm sure we'll be talking, a lot more in the future.
We definitely will. I usually always stay towards the Terrordome live stream, so if you ever want to like hang out with both of us, you can do that.
Yeah.
Whenever he's online, that's when I'll be online. But
anyway, yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
been really good. And yeah, I hope people on your channel who haven't checked it out, me and Clayton played The Isle
yes, we
over
did.
on my channel, and there's a video on there currently. And I'm actually planning on live streaming it. Maybe in half an hour.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so yeah, just go check that video out. It's great. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's awesome having you here, man.
Now before I go, I want to thank my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well, like Robinson. I can't thank you all enough for everything you do for the channel. Seriously guys, it means the world to me. Now I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and hope that you all enjoyed today's content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video guys, and as always, take it easy.